Christmas night, 2014. After 150 years, rail services to the city of Newcastle would end this night. No speeches, no banners, no farewells. No mention of heritage or the effort of those who had worked the line since 1854. Just a rain-swept Christmas and a sad new anniversary in the history of the city. 11 days earlier, over 3,000 people marched to protest the rail cut as questions hung over development plans. The shadow of illegal donations, resignations of elected members, and corruption hearings hung over the platforms at Newcastle Station on the one night of the year when most people were elsewhere. It was a Christmas like no other. This was not a time of giving or remembering or celebration. As the last train left Platform 1, it became rail history, one destined never to be at peace in the hearts and minds of many in the Hunter Valley. Within hours, Boxing Day awoke to government crews assessing the Stewart Avenue boom gates.
So which one do you want to do first down there? On Meriwether Street.
Oh, we'll have a chat down there.
By 7:30 a.m., they were dismantling the gates near Civic Station. The haste was palpable. With a Supreme Court injunction halting the line's closure, the removal of the rail gates was neither required nor essential. It was, by appearance, provocative. A deliberate and visual statement by the NSW-LNP of intent to render the tracks closed. Within days and under the cover of night, work was underway at Wickham. This time, essential overhead wiring was being removed by a number of crews. Not only were the cables taken down, but all insulators and supports, along with a section of the corridor from Station Street to Honeysuckle. The government stated that such removal was needed for safety grounds. The extent of the work raised questions of the motives behind such large-scale dismantling of essential equipment. No more electric trains could run after that night. Daylight revealed the full extent of the work. The days that followed saw installations of buffer stops at Wickham, effectively halting any train movements east of Railway Street. Work continued on New Year's Eve, the sparks from a grinder forming a different kind of fireworks that night. New Year's Day, and fences were placed along the tracks. These are seen at Worth Place. Another barrier to trains, another statement of intent. During January, government work continued at a fast pace and at night. Rails at the Stewart Avenue crossing were buried under tar. Essential signaling and boom gates were removed. Looking at the work closely gave the appearance of much haste and little care, with mounting bolts sheared and signs and concrete support smashed. Within days, rails were concreted over, in the road centers and edges. This was closure of the Newcastle line by concrete and tar. Over at Hamilton, rail passages changed to buses. For a journey to Newcastle that weeks earlier took 10 minutes, it now took far longer. With the rails to the city buried and blocked, this is the shape of things to come for at least 2 years. A promised interchange and light rail service is yet to be built. Along with tar, concrete, and fences, work to cover the tracks continued in January. This time, near Newcastle Station, mats, packing sand, and dirt buried the tracks over a 2-week period. Then the grass was laid, next to a tar footpath. The government calls this a temporary pedestrian crossing. It also provides another barrier to trains, a new visual statement of intent to close the line, while the injunction remained in place. In late January, crews returned to the line at night. Here they removed heavy level crossing machinery at Civic. Along with fencing, gates are placed in a truck. Crews then cut support bolts off at the ground. The remnants of the crossing were then trucked into the Newcastle night. Daylight revealed electrical cable channels at Civic are filled with concrete. the mounting bolts cannot be reused. And all along the tracks, weeds now replace a century and a half of public transport. Here and there, rubbish sits next to the rails. There is little or no maintenance of the tracks. The proud Newcastle, Civic, and Wickham stations remain boarded up. All face uncertain futures, history and heritage pushed aside in the rush for change. The government talks of building on the rail land, development that would forever block the line. A brave new future, perhaps, for the few, and one, some would suggest, comes at the expense of many. Embracing the future should not mean dismantling our past. For Newcastle, it seems, that same past is in peril, now and for all the days to come.